Hi guys, welcome to Eric's Hobby Workshop, and today I'm going to show you how to build some futuristic industrial dystopian terrain. So I'm going to go over some of the materials quickly that I used to build this. First thing here, we have a toy plastic shopping cart. Got these toy garden tools, which have these lovely handles on them. And this toy water gun. So I'm going to take my hobby saw and cut this thing in half, and this is going to be the basis of the project. This piece on the left here is going to be sort of the tower thing that forms the main structure. So I'm taking a medium grit sandpaper and I'm going to use this to rough up the surface of the plastic. As you can see, the plastic is very shiny to start with, and that's not going to grab the paint very well, so we're looking for a more pebbled, rougher finish, and that'll really make our lives easier when we get to the painting stage. So here you can see I've washed and sanded the whole piece. And moving on to the next step, I'm going to get some of these pieces of PVC pipe you can get at any hardware store. I'm just making a fun looking little pipe thing. The side of the toy shopping cart is going to be my platform, and I'm going to use this sculptor's mesh to act as sort of a grating over top of it. We're going to cut some of the gardening pieces off of these tools, like so. And as you can see, this makes a great steel I-beam looking piece, which will help to support our platform, like this. So we'll give those a quick sand as well, and our platform. Here I'm using some super glue to glue these pieces of pipe together, but I'm leaving the two sections separate for now just for ease of fitting things together. Here I'm cutting another piece of beam to form a cross brace between two of my pillars. I'm just attaching these with the hot glue gun, which is not the most precise way to glue something, but if you get a big bead of glue, it kind of just looks like a big rough weld, which is okay for this type of build. So here I am cutting the mesh to size for the platform, just outlining it with a Sharpie, and cutting it with an X-Acto knife, which is definitely not the right way to cut this stuff, I learned now from experience. So I roughed that up with sandpaper, and now I'm applying it with super glue. Whenever you're using this much super glue, it's a good idea to be in a ventilated area. Sticking that down, and I'm going to weight it down with a few pieces of PVC pipe, just to let it dry. I'll give it a quick shot of black spray paint. The one I'm using here is an acrylic spray paint that's low odor. I would not recommend this kind. It took a long time to dry. I start by painting everything with a burnt umber acrylic paint, and then I give it a light dry brush with a silver acrylic paint. Both of these are just cheap acrylic paints from the local craft store. I don't think it matters what brand you use, as long as it's something you like the look of. Looking pretty good. I played around with a few different ladders before deciding to use these Necromunda bulkheads I had lying around. You can make your own ladders out of cocktail sticks, or anything else for that matter. Use whatever you want. Next, we're going to add some smaller pipe pieces using this DIY straw pipe kit. We're going to use the package from the kit to cut some small thin pieces of card, and using the hot glue gun, we're going to attach these to add some more visual interest to those smooth sections of pipe. Be careful not to burn your fingers too badly when doing this. And it should look like this when you're done. Next, we're going to take a piece of plastic card and make a base. I mark it out with a green pencil crayon, although you could use any color you want, and then cut it out with an X-Acto knife. Next I'm going to use my glue gun to attach this pipe. I'll paint the smaller bits with Citadel paints, using Rhinox hide as a base coat, and then dry brushing with a light layer of Runefang steel to pick out the details. Just lightly brush it down from a vertical motion, and you should get a nice level of detail popping out. Do the same to the pipes, and I've added this cherry picker from a small toy truck that I found, which I'll glue on somewhere to add a little bit of extra detail. So using the hot glue gun, we're going to stick these things in place and give the base a quick sand to get it ready for painting. Next we're going to add some pieces of debris to the base, just to add a little bit more visual interest and to bring it down to the scale that we want by giving some visual hints. So as you can see, I have some plastic card, some pieces of metal mesh, and some random pieces from some toy card. I'm gluing the plastic bits down with a rubber cement and the rest down with a super glue. I added a few little barrels, just because those give a really clear indication of the scale I'm going for. Next I'm going to use some white glue and add a little bit of sand to indicate this sort of sooty, filthy buildup in this dystopian industrial scene that I'm imagining. I'm using a paintbrush to help spread the glue around, and then just pouring sand onto the areas and tapping off the excess. And it looks like this. Cool. Next I'll use some basic black acrylic paint to paint over the base. You might be wondering why I didn't just spray this with the rest of it. That's a good question. You can do whatever you like. I thought this would make it easier to reach, but there's some pretty hard to reach pieces in here, so do whatever works for you. This is just how I did it this time. And then dry brush with some brown and some white. And here's the finished product. This type of piece is great for a game of Warhammer 40,000, Necromunda, Kill Team, Gaslands, or anything that takes place in a dystopian future. I like to keep it fairly simple like this. This rusty, weathered, metallic look goes well with a lot of different settings and doesn't clash too much with the miniatures. They're really easy to pick out against this sort of background. One of my favorite things about this piece is it's a great place to photograph miniatures because of these nice little areas in the bottom here. Things like this are what really keeps me interested in hobbying. As you can see, there's a nice platform up here as well. Check out future videos where I'm going to show you how to make some gantries and walkways that will connect different pieces of this. Let's add some miniatures and see how they look on this thing. As I suspected, they look pretty cool. Great, so if you like this video, leave a comment below, like, subscribe, and stay tuned because I'm going to do a whole lot more of this sort of industrial dystopian terrain in the coming weeks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Eric's Hobby Workshop.